Hello, this is the TradeSite U.S. stocks and futures market preview and domestic economic data roadmap for the week beginning Monday, the 13th of November, ending Friday the 17th, which is options expiration for November already. Here's a look at the ES front month futures contract. This is the daily chart of the S&P in broad market form. Again, a very weak week. Nothing much happened. We're down a little bit maybe, but I mean overall the ranges continue to be horrible. The action in the markets is poor. Let's go through the major indices, then we'll look at the intra-week action, and then we'll talk about the economic data that's coming out in the week ahead. So the S&P cash, which had a 13 sell signal back on Tuesday and has been down ever since. That was the high day. Lost 2 points on Friday, not a big deal. Wasn't expecting much more than that with the Veterans Day bank holiday. NASDAQ 100 down 3, not a problem again. SOX up 8. Sorry about that. Not new closing highs on the SOX. Biotech's up 11. But it's been down over the last month or so. The VIX closes up 79 cents at 11.29. Interesting with the VIX up Thursday and Friday with the bank holiday. The trend at 0.92, that puts the 10-day moving average at 1. So we'll see what we get there. Remember, it's the 10-day moving average at 0.85 that gives us a signal. NASDAQ volume only 1.9 billion shares. That's actually pretty good. I mean, it's better than what we saw all of October for the most part, considering it was a bank holiday, but there was no action, as you'll see in a moment. Advanced decline ratio on the NASDAQ plus 112. On the New York, it was negative 315. Google loses $3.57. Apple down 58 cents. Amazon down $3.78. Netflix down $1.88. There's a 13 sell signal in place on that one. Tesla even for the day. How do you figure that? It's unusual, right? A $300 stock exactly even for the day. TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, down $1.90. So rates are on the rise. Goldman Sachs loses 64 cents. After that 13 sell signal 8 days ago. That was the top day. So these sell signals have been right on the money all across the board. All right, so let's take a look at the intra-week action. So here's 10-minute candles. So Monday we had a flat opening, kind of just drifted up, wasn't very interesting. Tuesday, little gap up, pushed higher, but pulled back, filled it, and then drifted lower. Net for the week at that point was about a 10-point range and nothing. Wednesday, it gapped down a little, filled it, drifted higher. Thursday, gapped down, did not ever fill that. Swung around both ways. Thursday was the most volatile day of the week, obviously. That plunged down. We had made some good money on Nvidia and some other stuff. That was our better trading day. Friday with the bank holiday, gapped down a little and eventually drifted up to fill it, but that was it. So net for the week, I mean, you're talking about basically the S&P losing about 4 points. Look at the NASDAQ side, almost dead even for the week, up a couple points on the NASDAQ. So it wasn't very interesting of a week, unfortunately. All right, let's take a look at the economic data that's coming out. Let's center this. So we've got mortgage delinquencies here in the U.S. At some point, federal budget balance at 2 p.m. on Monday. Some Fed members speaking. NFIB small business index at 6 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. PPI at an hour before the bell on Tuesday. Wednesday, we got the CPI and retail sales. Those are bigger, along with the Empire State Manufacturing Index an hour before the bell. Business inventories 30 minutes in. Crude oil inventories an hour in. Tick long-term purchases 4 p.m. And then we've got unemployment claims and the import prices and Philly Fed Manufacturing Index at 8:30 a.m. on Thursday. Capacity utilization industrial production at 9:15. NAHB Housing Market Index at 10. Natty Gas at 10:30. Friday, the only numbers is building permits and housing starts, but it is options expiration week. So keep in mind what we should see is an options unraveling move if there's going to be one, either Wednesday or Thursday, and then the options expiration itself on Friday will probably be light. In terms of economic data, though, it's pretty light week. The CPI is probably the standout bigger number, and that's what we'll be watching. So that's it. Not a lot to talk about. Here's the other thing to keep in mind, though. This is important. We're right at the time of year now where stocks, if they've been up for the year, so take the leaders like Amazon and everything else, nobody wants to sell them. Nobody wants to lock in their tax gain for the last 6-7 weeks of the year. And so a lot of these stocks tend to go higher. So usually in any given year, if you take a look at something like an Apple chart, right, or a Google chart, right, you see something like this where they're up so much for the year. What you tend to expect is that at this point they're going to go higher because nobody wants to sell. So we'll see if that holds. If you don't, I mean, again, anything could be. This feels like an unusual year, but I think we just focus on the fact that some of these big stocks that are up are probably not going to see a lot of sellers for the last few weeks. And if they do, it's something very unusual, something different going on, probably related to the budget talks in Washington or lack thereof. Charts, as usual, brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken the trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading week.